All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. My name is Morgan Heitzma with Scott Leroy Marketing, and I hope you had a fantastic time over at MegaCamp. Today's class, we're going to be diving into DocuSign 101. So this is how you set up your DocuSign account, get it connected with your KW command, as well as how to use some of the initial features within the program. So before we get started, just know that today's class is going to be recorded. It's going to be housed on our YouTube page. Usually typically takes about 24 hours to upload and process, but I'm going to put the YouTube link in the chat box down below for you. And just know that you can look back on this training at any point in time after it's done uploading here. Just also note, as we're navigating the DocuSign class, the DocuSign platform, as well as the KW command platform, if you have any questions, please feel free to use this chat box down below. I'll stop in real time and help address those along the way. If by chance I miss any questions, just know that I'm going to stay for a few minutes at the end of class here today to kind of help address those. And if you have any questions at a later date, or if we need to jump in and troubleshoot your account, just know that you can always reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I'm going to throw that email in the chat box down below for you as well. All right, so as we're taking a look at our screen here, this is the KW command login page. Now, this class is primarily focused on a DocuSign, but it's also how to kind of get it integrated with your KW command platform. So, so typically it's a one-stop shop for getting your forms signed by your clients and then put back into your opportunities here for your market centers to review and approve. So as we're getting through here today, we're going to go ahead and sign in underneath Scott's KW command here. But again, if this is your very first time signing into the KW command platform, it's going to be agent.kw.com. And then, of course, it's going to take your KW username and password. If you have a hard time locating this, just know that you can reach out to us, and we should be able to kind of help you get that sent over to you. Now, again, I'm going to sign in underneath Scott's command here today. And once we sign in, we're going to be greeted with, oh, you can't see the screen. Can everyone else see the screen here? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, guys. And just note, if you cannot see the screen, this is also going to be recording. So you'll have this as a recording or a video to look back onto as well. As we are taking a look at the KW command page, once we sign in, it's going to take us directly to our dashboard. And I'll be sure to zoom up just a little bit here so we can kind of see this a little easier. The left-hand side of our page is going to be all of our navigational pages. And if we click on the red KW square in the top left-hand corner, we should be able to open up all these pages so we can kind of see them and read them a little bit easier. And your DocuSign is primarily going to be housed within your opportunities right here. It's going to be halfway down the center here, right here. It's going to look like two people shaking hands. And then again, we'll navigate to our opportunities here in a minute, but we want to first make sure that we have everything set up and connected. So when we do come here, everything's set up and ready to go for us to utilize the platform. So before we navigate to our opportunities, the first thing that we're going to want to do is make sure that we have our DocuSign connected to our KW command. As we're taking a look here on the top right-hand corner, if we go ahead and take a look at our name, it may also have your headshot right here as well. If we give this a click, it should open up our drop-down menu. And within our drop-down menu, you should see an option called Settings here. We're going to go ahead and give this a click. And it should take us over to our settings page. Now, within our settings page on the right-hand side right here, you'll see a number of different third-party applications that if you're currently already utilizing this, for example, Twitter, you can go ahead and connect them. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but our campaign section has also gotten a recent update. So you'll see that there will be a couple errors for our social media. But we do have a campaigns class next week. I believe it's next Wednesday. So again, if you're looking to take a little bit deeper look into the new campaigns, we will also have that next week for you guys. But for the most part, everything that you have on the right-hand side right here, if you're already currently utilizing it, you can go ahead and just directly connect it. Now, the one caveat to this is going to be your DocuSign right here. So this right here, and let me disconnect this really quick. Your DocuSign right here is going to be found underneath digital signature and transactions. This is one of the only options that are a little bit different than all of the rest of them. All the rest of the options, if you have it, it's just basically connect and then log in. But your DocuSign right here, this is actually going to be how you initiate or create your KW branded DocuSign account. Now, to save you guys a lot of headache and stress here, just note that that we have to create the DocuSign account from within our command settings here. If we were to go to, say, DocuSign.com and create one, unfortunately, that doesn't have the same properties as the KW branded DocuSign account. AKA a standard or free DocuSign account does not have access to your DocuSign Rooms. And DocuSign Rooms is the function that connects with your opportunities. So this is going to be our very first step in creating our KW branded DocuSign account right here. Is clicking on this Connect Account button. Now, as we give this a click right here, it will pop up 3 different options for us. Our preferred first name, our preferred last name, and the email address that we want associated with this KW branded DocuSign account. Just note, if I have, say, scottleroy@kw.com, if I went to DocuSign.com and created an account underneath that, it will give me an ugly red error down below here saying that it is incompatible to be used as a KW branded DocuSign account. So just note that only one email address can be associated to one account at a time. So as we're looking at this right here, you notice that we have an email address, but we don't have an option to create a password right here. Once we go ahead and click that send registration email, what it will do is it'll send DocuSign will send an email to this address right here that you placed. And within that email, you should have some sort of a button that says click here to authorize or finalize your setup. It'll take you over to DocuSign.com where you'll create that password as well as that security question. Once you create that password and security question, just come back over here. There may be one final authorize button. This connect account may say authorize right here, just to kind of complete that connection full circle. Yeah, Nicole, fantastic question. We do the initial setups when we onboard you guys. But there could be a couple caveats here. So a couple of situations. Initially, standard. If you're a brand new agent, we'll go in here and we'll set this up for you. However, if you're using a different email address that's not a KW email, like a personal email, or if this has already been connected in your account, say you're a transfer or a returning agent, this may already be in place for you. If you were to click on your name on the top right hand corner right here and then settings, it should populate here for you. Now, one thing that I do also know is that there's some market centers that use DocuSign, and then there's also some market centers that use Dotloop as well. Think of them as pretty much the same different platforms, but they do the same sort of thing. Now, if you're not seeing your DocuSign section right in here, there could be a possibility that your market center has opted to use .loop instead. And if that's the case, you can please feel free to reach out to us. We can jump in and confirm this for you. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the chat box down below for you. There you go. And yeah, just reach out. We can kind of troubleshoot that for you. As we are taking a closer look at this, I'm going to go ahead and click on Connect Account one more time. Say you've already have a KW branded DocuSign account. So for me, for example, I have Morgan Heitzma at kw.com. So I don't really need Scott Leroy at kw.com because that's not quite my email address. And since I already have my KW branded DocuSign account set up, instead of going through that send registration process again, I can simply click the login here. So this is fantastic if you ever need to, say, disconnect and reconnect your DocuSign. If your DocuSign somehow was disconnected in the past and you need to reconnect it, you can always use the login here as long as you already went through that registration process. So for me, for example, I'm just going to go ahead and swap Scott's email out. I'm going to click login here, and then I'll go ahead. It automatically saved my password, but you should get another pop-up right here, and the password that it's going to be asking for is going to be that password that we created from that email. So we'll click login, and then it'll also give us a pop-up right here that says DocuSign is now ready and can be found within our opportunities section. To find this page again, it's going to be on clicking your name on the top right-hand corner and then settings right here. And then once we go ahead and connect this, you'll see on the very bottom here, it'll give you an indication of what email address is currently connected to this KW branded DocuSign account. So if you ever forgot what your which email was connected, you can simply look down here. It does give you a little bit of privacy. So again, if I have say Morgan Heitzma at gmail.com, Morgan Heitzma at yahoo.com, and Morgan Heitzma at kw.com, it may be a little trickier for me to determine which email address this is associated with. However, it does do a pretty good job of giving you at least a hint of what email is connected here. Jillian, I'm not 100% sure. Again, if you want to reach out to us, we can kind of troubleshoot a little bit further for you. You do not have to use a KW email address. However, for KW for your KW email, it may be the least used. So it may be the best bet in creating this for you. So again, I would probably typically utilize the email address that you communicate with your clients with the most, or the one that you're in and out of the most. However, if you've already kind of used that in the past to create a personal DocuSign account, that email address may be incompatible. If you have a KW email address and how can you change it, or how can you swap DocuSigns? This is a fantastic question right here. So DocuSign, unlike just signing into a regular account and swapping the email address, your DocuSign does take a particular set of steps in order for us to be able to reset the password. So we do have those steps available for you. I don't have them right here during class, but again, if you were to send us an email, we can send you those steps to initiate a proper email swap without it locking you out of your DocuSign rooms. So again, I'm just going to throw this email in the chat box again for you, but yeah, we have specific instructions to swap your email address if you'd like to. All right, as we are taking a look right here, we do have our DocuSign connected in our settings. If we were to think about, a brand new initial setup here, connecting our settings are going to be the first step. The second step in going over to your DocuSign would be creating a contact and then an opportunity. So because that's where your DocuSign lives, is inside your opportunities. And so with this, I may kind of go a little bit quicker through the creating a contact and creating an opportunity. But just know that we have a full in-depth class for each of these topics right here. Okay, so just know. And then if you have any additional questions, of course, just please feel free to reach out. We'll be able to kind of address those. So as we connected our DocuSign right here, the second step would be clicking that KW square and then going to our contacts here. And within our contacts, you'll see that that we have a couple sample leads right here. And again, at this point, we can either add a contact or we can find a specific contact within our database. Now, for this example, I think it's perfectly okay to use Sally Sample. And as we're taking a look at Sally Sample right here, we can see on the right-hand side that Sally Sample does have 2 opportunities. So we can give a click right here, and you'll see that there's a couple of listings right here. I'm going to create a brand new listing for Sally Sample. Whoops. You can do so right here on the right-hand side. And we're just going to create a listing opportunity. Perfect. And Sally Sample listing. And this is going to be on the cultivate side. So at the very beginning of our opportunity timeline. So once we give that a click right here, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to navigate over to my opportunities. I can also click on the opportunity that I just created from right here. But again, showing you kind of 2 different ways to navigate to your opportunities here. Clicking on opportunities, I'm just going to simply click on my name right here and then the cultivate section. Now, as we scroll down here, you see Sally Sample listing. This is the listing that we just created here for our contact. If we click on the name right here, you'll see that it opens us up into the details section. Now, again, the first 3 steps are going to be connecting your DocuSign account, creating a contact, and then creating an opportunity here, okay? Once you create an opportunity and jump into it, we have our details, seller profile, marketing, documents, offers and commissions, notes, and timeline here. Our DocuSign is going to live in documents. So DocuSign documents. We'll go ahead and give this a click here. And again, as we kind of move towards this section right here within our opportunities, as we're going through our section in our opportunities here, this is a brand new opportunity. We haven't really pulled anything in just yet. We're going to first take a look at our checklist type right here. Once we give this a click, we'll be able to select. Now, this is also going to be where your list may differ from my list because each market center creates their own unique checklist right here. So if yours doesn't look exactly how mine looks, that is to be expected because, again, each market center, I believe each principal reviewing broker sets these up for the market center. So, so as you see right here, I have a residential listing option. I'm going to give this a click right here. And within our residential listing, you'll see all the different checklist items that you have right here. Now, again, we kind of cover all of this within our opportunities. We cover all of these different tabs right here as well. So again, if going a little too quick for you, just know that, that there are full in-depth classes on creating a contact and creating opportunities, okay? In this section right here, you'll see that we don't have any forms or documents that we pulled in just yet. And I can kind of pull a PDF from my computer. So I just grabbed a random PDF from my desktop right here. And I can drag and drop it to any section that needs to be dropped to. So for example, if that PDF were the CMA, I'd be able to kind of place it right here. And then it will kind of upload here for us. And this is what we call, uploading from our computer or attaching files from your computer right here. And if you give this a click, you'll see that you really only have the option to upload from your computer. Now, if we take a look directly above this drop down right here, you'll see a button that says Start a Transaction. Now, this button will only really appear here if we have successfully connected our DocuSign within our settings. So again, the first step would be to connect that DocuSign, because once we get to this point right here, if we haven't connected it just yet, chances are this button may not be here for you. So this button will only appear if we have successfully connected our KW branded DocuSign within our settings. Now this button has a couple different meanings right here. So as you see right here, it says Start a Transaction. What this button means, and it's also dark gray right here. The dark gray Start a Transaction button, this indicates that you do successfully have DocuSign connected in your settings. However, this opportunity that we just created is not connected to DocuSign yet. If we were to click on this button right here, it should give us a pop-up to a new tab. And depending on how long it's been since we signed into DocuSign, it may ask us to sign in again. However, we've just connected it here within our settings, so we should be good. Once you complete your login right here on the new tab, it should open you up into a new DocuSign room right here, specifically for this listing. So let's take a look. One last thing to indicate right here is once we connect this opportunity to a DocuSign room, this button is also going to turn kind of like white or clear with blue text, kind of similar to these buttons up top here. And this kind of indicates that you do have a room successfully connected to this opportunity. So I'm going to click on Start a Transaction. Again, we do suggest if you have two options right here, we suggest only connecting one. Otherwise, that could cause problems down the line with your opportunity. So as we are talking about DocuSign today, we're going to choose the DocuSign option. Should give us a new tab. There we go. And it should create a brand new DocuSign room for us. So, and what else is really cool is it should say Sally sample listing right here. Again, same title as our opportunity. And then another thing to indicate on the top right-hand corner is our KW logo. So again, this is kind of indicating that it is the KW branded DocuSign account. Now in this case right here, another thing to keep in mind is you may not have documents that auto-populate here at the very beginning. So let me go ahead and delete these right here. Again, that's completely optional dependent on your market center. So starting off from scratch, this is what your DocuSign room would typically look like right here. Whoops. There we go. We're not gonna upload any documents just yet. But taking a look at our DocuSign room right here, going back to our opportunity, you'll see that it did change to that kind of like white or clear button with that blue text. And it also says Go to Transaction. So again, this indicates to us that that we are indeed connected to a DocuSign room right here. Now again, one thing to also note is now we have a toggleable option between uploading from our computer files as well as uploading from DocuSign right here. And one thing to note right off the bat is it doesn't quite give us any options. Everything looks a little grayed out right here. But we'll also need to select that room docs right here. This is super important. If there's no documents or no signed documents in a specific folder that we're selecting, it may not become available for you. And every room starts off with one folder right here. So it's just called our room docs right here. If you're wanting to create multiple folders, we can click on this Actions button on the top right-hand corner here. Give this a click, and you'll see it says Add Folder. So say folder name. and I'm just going to write signed. So this is going to be for all of my signed documents that come back ready to be uploaded to my opportunities. So I'm going to create a signed folder and just a room docs folder. All the documents that are going to be inside of my room docs are just going to be for me to work on. The signed folder is going to be for all the pretty signed, sealed, and delivered documents that are ready to be reviewed. As we are taking a look right here, if I were to go back to my DocuSign again and hit refresh, this should give me the option to toggle between that working folder as well as that signed folder. So our room docs and then our signed right here. So now we can toggle between a couple different folders. Going back over here, this other blue button right here, this add button, this is going to be where we can go to get Jillian, just note again, if you have any issues, please feel free to reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We'll be happy to kind of jump in and help troubleshoot a little bit further for you. As we are taking a look, this blue add button right here, this is where we're going to go to add all of our documents to our room. Okay, so by giving this a click here, you have the opportunity to pull in forms from your computer, pull in forms from zip forms or any third-party storage platforms like Google Drive, Dropbox. And then we also have an option called DocuSign Forms right here. If we click on DocuSign Forms, this will primarily be where your market center and your board forms live. And if we were to give this a click right here, you should be able to see all of those available for you. So if I needed a specific list, like a listing update form right here, I can give that a click right here. I may want to check, make sure this is the right form. So I'll click on this eyeball. It should give me a sample view of what this form indicates. So again, perfectly great right here. I'm going to go ahead and add this to selected here. Now, as we pull in the form, we are still in that signed right here. So I'm going to close the signed up. Again, everything's going to pull into that room docs right here. Once everything comes back signed, I can kind of move it and adjust it accordingly. So we'll use this form as an example. You can just simply drag any forms into another folder right here. And what's cool is everything that we do inside of this room right here is strictly for this one opportunity here. So we'll never have to worry about, rearranging forms because they're all for that 123 Main Street, right? Or Sally sample. And this is a great tool for us to be able to create a number of different transactions and easily hold the forms without kind of getting confused on which forms where. As we are taking a look, how do we pull these forms in? Because if you guys go to your DocuSign forms, if we haven't connected this just yet, you may not have these forms quite available. But we can simply click on our name on the top right-hand corner here, and then we'll click on our preferences. And within our preferences here on the left-hand side, you're going to see an option that says integrations. So it's going to be the last clickable on the left-hand side right here. And once we're inside of our integrations, this is where things kind of get interesting. We'll have a few different options when it comes to pulling in forms or connecting forms for us to be able to use within our rooms here. So the first option that I would suggest, if you don't have anything connected here just yet, you may have a blue button that says Add Provider. It may look just like this right here, but it's blue, and you may not have anything showing right here. If we click Add Provider, this will pop up right here for us. The first thing that we're going to want to connect is our Market Center forms. And if we look at this cancel button, if we follow this all the way to the right-hand side, there will be a clickable text that says continue to company forms without validation. We'll go ahead and click on that. And what it should do is it should pull in this right here, which is your company forms, AKA your Market Center forms. Preference setup. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go to our room here. Let's jump back into our room. You're going to see a whole bunch of rooms here, but ignore that for a second. So we've gotten to our DocuSign room right here. This is where it pulls us into when we go in from our opportunity. So this is where I kind of like to orient ourselves. And then we're going to give this headshot or initial right here a click on the top right hand corner, and then preferences. And then we're going to click on integrations right here on the left hand side. And the integrations is essentially where you go to connect your forms. So your company forms are going to be your market center forms. Again, that's going to be add provider, continue to company forms without validation. And then as we are taking a look here a little bit further, you have one of two options. You have a couple options here. So some market centers or some locations, I believe California, for those of you in California, you may be one of them. Some of you use zip forms instead of the MLS to pull in your forms, or your association. Sorry, your association. As we are taking a look here, you do have the option to connect your zip forms right here. Again, we'd simply click on this blue arrow on the right-hand side here. You'd enter in your zip forms username and password, and then you should be able to pull in your transactions folders as well as just blank forms from your zip forms library. So that's for those of you who are utilizing zip forms. For those of you who are pulling in your realtor association, you'll first have about 6 different options right here. For California Association of Realtors, OREF, Northwest Multiple Listing Service, Texas Association of Realtors, and Georgia Realtors right here. So as we take a look right here, for other associations, for that National Association of Realtors right here, all we have to do is really give this a click here. And then we'll enter in our 9-digit NRDS number, right? And then we'll enter in our last name and then our association. And if you take a look right here, there should be a large number of associations for you to be able to choose from. Some of those associations, if you're in a specific niche, it could possibly be underneath like a specific or like Illinois Association of Realtors. It may be underneath an umbrella. But more often than not, you should be able to locate your association here and get this connected. Once you connect this, then you'll be able to pull your board forms into your opportunity or into your DocuSign rooms for you to be able to send out for signatures. All right, going back over here, just trying to reorient ourselves here. Again, once you have that connected, we'll click add right here. Again, you have zip forms or DocuSign forms. So NRDS or zip forms, whichever one that you're utilizing. And then you can go ahead and select between here and choose any forms that you'd like. One other thing to note is that if you pull a form in, you cannot pull that same form in multiple times. It can only be used once inside of your DocuSign room. So as you see, I pulled this form in right here. It doesn't allow me to pull it in again. It actually says in use right here. So I'd have to delete this form and then pull it in another time. We can use a search to pull in the form. I'd say sort of. I believe they're all divided by each folder, right? So if I were to take a look right here, and if I were to type in listing, for example, if I type in listing, you'll see that it only populates whatever form that I'm currently in right here. So let me go down the list and a couple different options here you see. So now I'm in CAR, so that only has like one form right here when I type in listing. So it does kind of populate for you, but unless you're in that correct folder, that specific folder that you're wanting to locate forms from, then it starts to get a little bit tricky. Okay, cool. So as you see right here, we do have a form that we pulled in. One thing to note, I'm going to zoom in quite a bit right here, but one thing to kind of take a look at is on the bottom right hand corner of this image. You'll see a icon titled form right here. It's also blue. This indicates that this is a power form. A form that collects information from your details section right here to auto-populate your document for you. This is really cool because instead of having to enter in that same information on all the documents, all we'll have to do is enter in that information once, like the listing address or the seller's information, right? And then it'll take that and it'll scan the document and then place that information where it needs to go right here. So super cool. Again, if you have any discrepancies, we'll look at the details tab, and we'll get to that tab here in a moment as well to take a look at it a little bit further. But really cool to be able to take a look at this. One other thing to take a look at as well is that if, for example, we pull in that tech tip PDF and I drop this into my room, you'll see that I have a different icon, and this icon is a PDF right here. And one thing to note is that the PDF does not have the same properties as the Power Form. The Power Form is basically an intelligent form right here. A PDF is basically a picture of the document. So it's not really, doesn't have too many options to be edited. So one thing to just keep in mind is you'll have another form right here as well. Once documents come back signed, icon. You'll see your icon. It'll I think it has a check mark. And it has a green slash right over here instead of red or blue. So green means signed, sealed, delivered document. Now I'm going to zoom back out here just a little bit here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this power form right here. We have Sally Sample as the name, but we don't have any listing information. But if we scroll down right here, let's see if it populates Sally Sample. Nothing just yet, but let's see if we can actually get a property address to populate in this form without us actually filling it out. So how we do this right here, and if you see all these boxes right here or these check boxes, a lot of these may get populated, again, depending on the document during your details fill out right here. You still may want to come back at the end of filling out all of your details just to make sure, because I'm not sure if there's going to be specific options like seller concessions or whatnot. But let's take a look at the address at least right here. I don't have a property address. I actually just have Sally Sample listing. If we go back to our listing within our opportunities right here, I don't have a listing either. But this is a really cool feature that I like in the opportunities right here. So we're actually going to connect a listing in our opportunities first, and then have that translate into our DocuSign. Before I do so, let's take a look at our details here. This is where we go to fill in all of the information about our opportunity. A lot of this information will populate based off of the opportunity. Like, for example, since we're in Scott's command, Scott is the listing agent. And then the seller, let's scroll down here, should be Sally Sample. Oh, did I already pass it? Oh, yep, there you go. So seller 1 right here, Sally Sample. It already kind of pulled in all the information that it had on this opportunity. It does not know the address or the listing information right here. So you see that all this is kind of blank. It does have the country right here, but as far as the MLS ID or any other information, it does not quite have that yet. Only has the information what we populated so far. Going over here, one thing to keep in mind when we're talking about opportunities is when we create a buyer opportunity, you will not have this option to select from listings. Again, pretty self-explanatory. A buyer is going through the process of selecting a listing. For this option right here, this is only going to be in the listing opportunities, okay? So we'll select from listings right here. I'm going to go ahead and choose show all listings on the right hand side. And then I'm simply going to enter in a 123 Main Street. I'm going to hit enter. And then we'll just go ahead and select any 123 Main Street that we have. And as you see right here, I pulled in this information for this opportunity. When your document does say in use, you will not be able to bring it up again. You'll have to actually delete the document first in order to pull it in. How you delete a document is going to be selecting the checkbox on the top left-hand corner, and then it should pull up a menu here for us. And then we're going to select delete right here. So that's how you delete the form, and then you should be able to pull it back again from your list. All right, as we pulled in this listing right here, this 123 Main Street, before I go back to my my details tab right here in my DocuSign, I actually want to go to my details tab inside of my opportunity. Because what we'll see right here is once we've pulled in or start editing information after we've connected this opportunity to the DocuSign room, you'll start to see discrepancies right here. You'll see some information is already synced, some information has been edited that your DocuSign doesn't have updated just yet. So when we take a look right here, in order to kind of resync this to our DocuSign right here, we'll just simply click the sync transaction button right here, and it should go through that process of updating your DocuSign room. So we pulled a listing in, so all this information's new. We'll click refresh right here. And then you'll see now that it has been synced right here. So again, one last time, we're going to go back to our details tab inside of our DocuSign room right here. We don't have any information just yet, but once I hit refresh here, you should start to have some information populate. And as we take a look right here, you'll see that it pulled in that MLS number, pulled in that address, 123 Main Street. And then again, it should also pull in, if I scroll down right here, maybe some buyer agent information as well. It does not. But it did at least populate all the listing information here for us. We may have to enter that in manually. But pretty cool. And then look, it also populates some additional information as well. Bedroom, bathroom, square footage. And so now when we go back to our document right here, since this is a power form, once we give this a click, it should pull in that listing information for us. And as you see right here, it automatically pulled in that information. So pretty cool. Again, I didn't have to really enter this in over and over and over again. It'll just pull from that details information. My best piece of advice is always update your opportunity first and then sync transaction, because that way that will keep everything consistent across the board. If you need to fill in additional information on the details tab that does not have an option to be provided in the opportunities, I'd say go for it. Or if there is if there's a discrepancy like a last name, like you keep trying to plug in Bob Smith, but it keeps saying Bob Jones, you may want to adjust that manually in the details section right here. And again, to edit any of this information manually on this DocuSign room, again, the top right-hand corner right here, we'll click edit. And so we'll be able to kind of, instead of Sally mix sample, maybe it's just Sally sample right here. And then we'll hit save on the very bottom, and that should update all that information right there. All right, let's go ahead and run through the process of sending out a document for signature right here. So as we have our one document right here, let me pull in that tech tip as well. So we have a PDF, we have a power form. When you're ready to send this out for signatures right here, all we really need to do is click on that checkbox of the square. And then it should open up that menu towards the center here. And in the center of this menu, you should have something that looks like a pen. And if you hover over it, it should say create envelope right here. Giving this a click right here, since we have Sally sample within our information and our details and our document within our details and our opportunity here, you'll see that it gives us the option to just pull in Sally's sample if we'd like to. If you have, if we're sending this document to somebody else, say to Sally's relative, we may want to just not select any and then just hit continue right here. This is perfectly fine. For me, I'll click Sally's sample right here, and then I'll go ahead and I'll adjust it on that next page. So I'll click continue right here. You guys will see what information it pulls from that checkbox. And as we pull in, this is the start of us sending out an envelope. And the best way to kind of memorize what an envelope is, if this is your very first time with DocuSign, is very much like as if you were to send a physical envelope to somebody, right? Only this is taking place very digitally. So in this envelope, you can add as many different documents as you want to. I can upload documents from my computer. I can upload documents from, my computer's up here. I can upload documents from my room, a number of different options right here. If I select an option from my DocuSign Room right here, again, we'll select our specific folder, and I can pull in that tech tip right here and hit add. So just know that if you forgot to add a form or a document, you can very much add that before you send it off to get signatures. In this case, I'll X that one out. I'm going to hit delete right there. And I'm just going to use this one document that we have available. Scrolling down here a little bit more, that pop-up pulled in Sally sample's information right here, name and email address. So again, we didn't have to spend time searching for this information in order to send this out. So that's the power of that new pop-up with that checkbox. It asks you which individuals are going to be signing this document right here. Now, in this case right here, I'm going to keep Sally sample as is. I'm going to add another recipient though, and maybe that other recipient is going to be, sure, myself, why not? And as we're kind of adding these recipients here, let's add one more for Scott, because Scott is the seller's agent or listing agent. Perfect. And then so now we have 3 different signers available for this document right here. Pretty cool. You can add it. You can add a large number of signers here. One thing to also note is each signer has their own unique color. So again, when we go to this next page here and we start adding tools to allow the signer to add signatures or initials or anything like that, everything's going to be color coded for us to know who's going to be signing what. One big piece of advice here for you guys is sometimes technology doesn't always work the way that we want them to. And sometimes there's small little hiccups or technical issues or bugs. And with DocuSign's recent update, there's kind of a technical bug that I kind of noticed here that I wanted to at least stress over to you guys. And if we take a look right here, we can click on this checkbox for signing order. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The first person signs. Then after the first person's done signing, then the second person will sign. After that, then the third person will sign. And then it kind of indicates that right here, 1, 2, and 3. If we start moving or adjusting these around, say maybe Morgan needs to be signer number 1, right? If I start moving this, watch what happens to our signing order on the left-hand side. Let me maybe adjust this right here too. You notice how all of a sudden, just by kind of moving a couple around, it automatically placed every single person on signer number 1 right here. This may be something that we want to kind of take a look at because we want to make sure that everything goes in a smooth fashion. Every signer should have their own time signing the document. So again, something just since we live in that technical digital age, right? Sometimes there's these small little caveats that we have to deal with. So if this ever happens for us, what we're going to need to do is we're actually going to need to adjust this over to signer number 1 and then just manually change this to 2 and then signer number 3 right here. So I hope that helps. And I hope that helps prevent a lot of like headache if you are going through this signing process right here. For this example, I'm just going to have maybe myself and Scott on here. There we go. And then again, just again, by rearranging this as signer number 3 and 4, but there's only 2 of us on here. So we'll just adjust that to signer number 1 and then signer number 2 right here. So as we have this right here, we have 2 signers on this document. As I scroll down, there's going to be one last section right here, which is your message. This is basically what your email subject line is going to look like. And then DocuSign does a pretty good job of making the email look nice. So you don't have to add any additional context to your email. But if you'd like to, deadline to have this back by Thursday, 3 o'clock, right? If there's any additional context that you need to send over to your clients, you can feel free to use this. Let's do deadline Friday, 3 p.m. Sure, why not? And then we'll be able to kind of see what this looks like in real time here. Now, as we go ahead and click next on the, there we go. As we hit next right here, you'll see that form pull up for us. And this is the form that again, pre-populated our listing information. And again, any information that we have on the details tab, it should populate in these gray boxes right here. One thing to note is we're going to start pulling a lot of different tools over to this document. The left-hand side is going to be where all the tools come from. The right-hand side is going to be all of the different options for the tool that we pulled over. So for example, if I pull over signature right here and just place it right here for a second, you'll see that it opened up a whole bunch of different options strictly for this one tool. So tools and then options right here. One thing to also note on the left-hand side, on the top left, is you'll see a signer number 1. If we give this a click right here, depending on how many signers you have, it should give you a list of all the different signers. So if I wanted to work with, as Scott signing, I can go ahead and give that a click, and it should change the color of all of these options right here, all these tools. So if I drag signature over right here, you'll see now we have a distinct indication of what signer number 1 will be signing and what signer number 2 will be signing. And then as we go ahead and take a look on the right-hand side, say, for example, you do or do not want options to be required. I figure a signature is always required, but maybe if we pull over an initial, maybe this is going to be an optional thing that if they wanted to initial for this, they could, that service could be provided as well, right? So this is going to be optional, and we'll just click on the, we'll uncheck the required field, and you'll see that it comes up gray right here. I'm going to do that for this sign right here too, because one thing to note right here is everything in the gray text that you're seeing is going to be gone once it gets sent to your signer. And what I mean gone is it won't be editable. You'll still have all the text that's in here. Let me just do test. So I'm going to write test right here. And once we send this off, we can see that all of these options kind of set in stone. So your signers aren't going to be able to adjust this. They're only going to be able to adjust their own sections right here. On the top right hand corner, we have preview. We'll go ahead and preview this document right here. And then as you see, all that information kind of goes away, and you're only left with that specific information that was integrated. Now, you see I wrote test out here. On the top left-hand corner, you can also view depending on who's signing. So if you want to see what Morgan's signing process would look like versus Scott's, you can kind of do that as well. But again, it's very good to note that these things won't be editable by your agent, by your clients. Only the options that you select for them. Only the color coded ones. Now, again, only running with only about a minute left here. I'm just going to finish up. I may go over a couple minutes here, but finishing up, once we're happy and satisfied with this document right here, we can go ahead and send this off. One thing also to note, you guys, is we have a DocuSign 201 class. So if I didn't cover something here today, just know that we're actually going to expand even more on this tool right here. Okay. So I'm going to hit send on the bottom right-hand corner here. At least one recipient's missing contact information. So let me just type in Morgan right here. It looks like it's not quite saving that, but here we go. And let's see if we can hit send here. So I'm going to send this off. We have two signers that are receiving this this document right here. And when we send that envelope out, you'll see it pull up inside of your envelope section right here. So again, just to reorient ourselves, every time we enter an opportunity, we get taken to the document section right here. Once you send an envelope out, all you really have to do is click on the envelope section right here. And you'll have the option to view your envelope right here. And what else is cool is you have the ability to see who are we currently waiting to sign this document, like who's currently signing the document, and then who's waiting to sign it next. So you can see where it's at in the transaction. So if you have four or five different signers, right, and it's stuck on signer number 3, you can easily identify that and be able to reach out to that specific individual and say, hey, just want to make sure that you got that document. If you could please have that back to us, right? There's tons more within this DocuSign. I'm really excited to jump into correcting and resending and different folders and things like that. But for now, I'm going to leave it where it's at, and just note that I did see some extra questions here, so I will stay for a few minutes at the end. But for those of you who are watching this class at a later date, thank you so much. I truly appreciate all the time and effort that you're putting into this DocuSign and building out your KW Command system. Until next time, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at support@scotlandroadmarketing.com.